Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival. So we circumvented an almost World War III today. Major World War III scare as Russian and Chinese military jets enter UK allies' air defense zone. This was just a few hours ago, and Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff said in a news release that the Chinese and Russian planes entered and exited the Korean Air Defense Identification Zone, which is known as CADAS, in the East Sea and South Sea Friday afternoon. Now, South Korea scrambled fighter jets and 6 Russian military and 5 Chinese aircraft flew through the air defense zone, the country's military said. Now, the Chinese Ministry of Defense said on social media that the flights were their 9th Joint Strategic Patrol and took place above the Sea of Japan. So we've been talking about so much going on, and the building up. We have BRICS, who is a, pretty much anti-NATO organization. We have Joe Biden's last-ditch effort to start World War III prior to Trump administration happening right before our eyes. Now, Putin is looking at anything. And right now he's got deployment of Satan II missiles to active duty. And this is an ongoing report. Now, not good. Putin warned that if the U.S. supplies nuclear weapons to Ukraine, it will use all means of destruction. I'm going to play a video clip real quick. This is from Thursday. This is without sound, but I'll read it for you. If the country with which we are currently fighting becomes a nuclear armed power, what should we do? In this case, we will adopt and use everything. I want to emphasize this: adopt and use. Exactly all the means of destruction at Russia's disposal. Everything. We will not allow this to happen. A nuclear attack on Russia, this is the first thing. Secondly, such statements about giving nuclear arms to Kiev can only be made by irresponsible people who are not responsible for anything and do not feel any responsibility on their shoulders. So he's getting more direct about this, and he said that they would use all means of destruction and weapons at their disposal. And New York Times reported last week that some of the unidentified Western officials had suggested U.S. President Joe Biden should give Ukraine nuclear weapons before he leaves office. Now, Putin also stated that it's practically impossible for Ukraine to produce its own nuclear weapons, although if you recall a few weeks ago, Zelensky said they were in the process of building. I think that was just a ploy that they were in works of getting nuclear weapons from U.S., but he was trying to make it seem as they would be able to build their own. So it wouldn't be odd that they all of a sudden showed up with nuclear weapons. But Putin said it would be practically impossible for Ukraine to produce a nuclear weapon, but it may be able to produce some type of dirty bomb, a conventional bomb laced with radioactive material in order to spread contamination. In that case, Russia would respond appropriately, he said. So he is not playing around, right? You see this, Putin says Russia would use all weapons at its disposal if Ukraine got nuclear weapons. This is the red line he's painting. He said, this is it, man. You cross this, this will be it, right? Now, World War III, why Putin's nuclear threat is real. Russian former officer reveals alarming secrets. So this was just published yesterday, and we have people saying that Putin is not joking. Vladimir Putin, nuclear threat, a former officer at a Russian nuclear weapons base, has shared a rare account of the high alert status during the first days of Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. His testimony also highlights the harsh realities of defying orders, the risks faced by deserters, and the persistent threats against him even after fleeing Russia. Despite living in hiding, he continues to help others to escape. So it is serious. This man is not playing around. He is not going to allow his country's sovereignty to be threatened. That's the verbiage he uses. Now, Joe Biden is making a last-ditch effort to get Congress to give $24 billion to help Ukraine. Yes, that's billion, before he leaves office. He reaffirmed that the U.S. support for Ukraine following Russia's massive drone attack against the country, which left more than 1 million Ukrainian households without electricity. Russia launched 188 drones on Wednesday that targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure, with 76 of them being intercepted by Ukraine's air defenses, according to Ukraine's Air Force. In November 28th statement, Biden criticized Russia for what he described as a horrific aerial attack. So 24 billion, man. They just gave 150 million in the past some odd 8 weeks. And now he's trying to get another 24 billion before he leaves office. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're trying to wind this thing down. Trump says he has a plan to get the war done, like over. But they're pushing this, man. 24 billion. What do you think they're going to be trying to do with that? Okay. Now we have Thomas Massey says Biden green lighting striking Russia an unconstitutional action of war and it's an impeachable offense. So a lot of people are speaking out about it. Trump allies warn Biden's risking World War III by authorizing long-range missiles for Ukraine. And that is just, that's not even the nuclear weapons. That's just launching long-range ICBMs within Russian borders. So I got a video of Putin talking about Trump here. Check it out.
Well, probably just like me, you are amazed not by the fact that absolutely uncivilized means had been used against Trump, all the way up to assassination attempts, numerous assassination attempts. And I think he's not safe even now. The history of the United States has known many cases, but I think President Trump is a smart person and a cautious one, I hope. But what amazed me most, that in fighting him, not only Trump was subjected to humiliating court procedures, accusations and so on, but his family was attacked as well. His children was attacked. Gangsters don't do this in Russia. When criminal gangs fight, they don't touch children and women. It's men who fight among themselves. But those guys stooped as low as that. I think this is so... This looks so bad that it only reconfirms how low the political...
So again, you know, I don't disagree. The things that Trump was subjected to, the humiliating court procedures, accusations, the attempts on his life, and like he said, gangsters don't do this in Russia. Even they have a moral code, he says, and it just, like he says at the end, it reconfirms how low the political system has gotten in the United States. They are no holds bar. Everything's on the table, even World War III. Because Alex Jones was actually talking about this the other day. He believes this is what they're trying to do to blunt Trump becoming president. That way they can incite martial law. They can shut down social media. Because if you've seen over the past, since the election, the leftists have been speaking out about how dangerous social media is, because people like us that make content, they say it's dangerous that we can have an opinion or we can put information out that may not be propaganda compared to mainstream media, because mainstream media is nothing but propaganda. You saw the biggest psyop from 2020 on. That's what you have been seeing, the biggest psyop operation. You have three-letter agencies all the way up to the CIA infiltrated and involved within social media and big tech companies. All of a sudden today I heard that Zuckerberg has met with Trump and he's asking to be part of his team now. I don't trust Zuckerberg whatsoever, and I hope Trump's smarter than that. Trump got kicked off platforms that Zuckerberg owned. He is not a fan of the First Amendment, free speech. So I would not trust him whatsoever, and so hopefully Trump doesn't as well. Now, you look at Biden's pretty much legacy is for him to start World War III. That's what it's looking like, because really, what has he done other than trying to start World War III? And you know, you have Trump and his team actively trying to stop it from happening. But we still got some time before inauguration. And just like my video last night, I'm sure you didn't see it because it was shadow banned like hell. But I talked about even leftists are trying to come together to do like a J6 type thing to stop the inauguration. But many people want him gone because we've seen the tide turn. We've seen the tide turn amongst the populace, man. They lost the cultural war. Now, here's Putin again stating exactly what the outcome will be.
If President Biden thinks that by escalating the confrontation, he does anything to help the future administration to go out easily out of the situation. Maybe the future president will said, it's not me, it's those lunatics who were in power before me. Well, that's one option. Maybe there is a version that the current administration does everything to create more difficulties to make life as hard as possible for the future administration. Well, that's possible, but as far as I see that, President Trump, a smart and experienced person, will come up with a solution, especially given that he has... If President Biden thinks that by escalating...
So yeah, he's even saying the same things that he believes Biden is escalating this to stop Trump, essentially. He's not wanting to say that in so many words, but that's what he's getting to. Now, I do think it's crazy, and this could be some kind of strategy, but today, Zelensky said, I'll give up Ukrainian territory to Russia to achieve peace. He says for the first time that his country could cede land temporarily in exchange for protection under NATO umbrella. Now, temporarily stop the war for NATO protection. And then he'll ask for his property back now that he has the full strength of NATO behind him, forcing an even larger global scale war. That's what these guys are doing. So the pundits today were like, oh, yes, Zelensky's wanting to stop the war. No. He's wanting to get in NATO, and then that temporarily ceding the land, but he's going to want it back, and then thrust us into a global war. But I don't know, guys. It's still heating up. It's not cooling down. It's getting worse by the day. And I think it will leading up to inauguration and maybe even beyond if we make it that far. There will be mass assured destruction, mutual assured destruction by far. Like, this is not something you want to play with. But I do want to bring up something real quick. Two things. I have been nominated for the Gundy's Awards again. I got my trophy over there somewhere, but you guys helped me get it, I think in 2021. And essentially, I was voted the most likely to survive the apocalypse. And it's a free thing. You go in there and vote for me. You can vote for me every day. I would like to win it again. It'd be cool to have another trophy to put in here. But I'm going to put that down below the link. You can go in there and vote for me every day. Help me defeat the competition, because usually it's a bunch of gun bunnies in there and they're not going to survive anything. But I think I would do decent in the apocalypse. The other thing is that it's Black Friday. We've got a lot of items on sale today, and we're also introducing the first production run of our new BSS 5 survival knife. Now, you remember before we had the Black Scout Survival 5, BSS 5, from another company. That company turned out, the guy, his name's Guy, turned out to be an absolute turd bag. And so we had to go and produce our knives with another company. But you can see here it has the bow drill divot, ambidextrous, similar to our first model. This is D2 steel. It's a large knife. And you can see we changed the blade profile a little bit because this is more of a combat survival knife. You see here, just like the BSS 4, it has the same geometry, but it's more of a survival as well as a combat knife. So I took, I spent many years doing Kali, Filipino martial arts, and I took that blade style from there so it can be used for fighting as well. I'll throw up the BSS 4 here. We have some of these and they're on sale as well. And we're doing both of these on sale. Shirts are on sale and survival kits, I think hammocks and things. So make sure you go grab them up. The BSS 4 is a little bit smaller blade. It doesn't have the bow drill because this is more of an EDC one tool option. So you always have a blade on you. And this BSS 5 is a larger version. So make sure to go get those. We also have a limited edition Rescue Orange because a lot of people likes that Rescue Orange. I do as well. So there we go. That Rescue Orange, and it has the bow drill divots as well on both sides. But a good blade. You know, if you got the BSS 4, man, you need this to go with it, and you should be pretty solid. But I wanted to create a survival knife that was cost efficient because, people get crazy with knives on how much they cost. A good steel, something you could sharpen yourself, because that's the thing. A lot of people use these super steels that you get out in the field, man, you can't get that thing back sharp. This thing, you can use a diamond rod or steel and sharpen that thing real quick on the fly. And that's how I like to design knives. That way, you can pretty much pass this down for generations. This thing's going to outlast you. And it's my favorite knife design to date. So anyway, these are on sale, as well as shirts and some other gear or survival kits and things. Go pick them up while it's on sale for Black Friday. And I do appreciate all your support, guys. And my mission has always been to equip you and as well with knowledge and gear. That's my mission in life. And hope you guys had a good Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and watch my video from last night because it was heavily shadow banned. Remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.
2, 3. 1, 2.